So there's the superior sagittal sinus bringing blood from the upper part of the body. Okay. Then inside we have inferior sagittal sinus. Both meeting at one place, that is the meeting point of sinus or the confluence of sinus. Okay. Okay, sinus means bigger vein. Now we can see here the one sinus going on the right side. We can see how it's curving around. One sinus going on the left side, we can see how it's curving around on the other side. So because it's in the transverse level, so we are telling it transverse sinus. Okay. Now, the transverse sinus is going, okay, it's going very nicely. Oh, we can see how the transverse sinus is going. Then after that, it is changing the shape. It's how it's going down. So it's become S-shaped. Now we can see it's like a S-shaped. So we are telling it sigmoid sinus. Sigmoid sinus. Okay. So the transverse sinus, because it's going transversely, then it's becoming zigzag, like a S-shaped. So we are telling sigmoid sinus. Okay. So these all are the extra arrangements. Okay, so the blood can go from multiple path from one place to other place. कि ब्लड को जाने के इतने रास्ते हैं कि सीधे जाना सीधे निकल जाओ, है ना। देखो एक तो सीधे जा रहा है और थोड़ा इधर उधर से भी हो सकता है. द ब्लड might take the entry from the side. Okay. So now what you have to do, you have to make one image right now. In that image, you have to make the superior sagittal sinus. Then you have to make one inferior sagittal sinus like this and make the meeting point, that is the meeting point of sinus. You have to make this image. Then make the one line on right side, one line on the left side, and write down transverse sinus. And after that, make little curved line and write the sigmoid sinus. Sigmoid sinus. Okay. I will tell you how to make. And you do it and send right now. So what I'm telling you, so one line like this, superior sagittal sinus. One line like this, inferior sagittal sinus. Superior sagittal sinus. Inferior sagittal sinus. And they are meeting at one point, that is meeting of the sinus or the confluence of sinus. Okay. This is the image number one. Now, image number two, you can make in this way. There's the meeting point of sinus or the confluence of sinus. Now, one line going like this, and then it's curving like this. So these are transverse sinus, both the side, and there's the sigmoid sinus. Okay, as per the shape, we are telling the name. The same thing I will show you once again in the image, then you have to draw this. Let's see this. So from the confluence of the sinus, you can see one horizontal line going on the left side, one on the right side, there is a transverse sinus, then it's curving like a S, it's called sigmoid sinus. Okay. Finally, it will also drain in the internal jugular vein. Okay. Ultimately, transverse sinus, sigmoid sinus, final path is internal jugular vein all the time. There's the superior sagittal sinus on the top, inferior sagittal sinus hidden inside. meeting point of the confluence of the sinus. Then from the confluence of sinus, we can see the right and the left transverse sinus. The right transverse sinus supplying the right part of the brain on the back side. The left transverse sinus supply the left part of the brain on the back side. We can see how it's supplying the back side. Means collecting blood from the back side. Then it become S-shaped, so we are telling sigmoid sinus. Okay. Now, transverse sinus and the sigmoid sinus. Okay. They are coming next to each other. So again, transverse sinus, sigmoid sinus, then again internal jugular vein on this side, even on the other side. Transverse sinus, sigmoid sinus, and the internal jugular vein. Now let's focus on these three structures. These three structures. Okay, let me highlight. So let's see here. So this is the transverse sinus. Sigmoid sinus and internal jugular vein. Okay. Now I told you earlier about the cavernous sinus. This is the cavernous. Then we see from the cavernous sinus, there is a petrosal sinus. This is the petrosal sinus. Coming and meeting in the internal jugular vein. So now I will write here. This is the cavernous sinus. Which is collecting blood from the eyes and surrounding the pituitary gland. From there, the vein coming from the petrosal vein and going in the internal jugular vein. So this is the petrosal vein or the inferior petrosal vein. Then the internal jugular vein. Now, what I want to tell you. From the cavernous sinus, the blood is going from the petrosal vein. There are two petrosal veins, one the upper petrosal vein and one the lower petrosal vein. So one the superior petrosal vein, one the inferior petrosal vein. The inferior petrosal vein directly going out means in the internal jugular. But the superior petrosal vein, this is the superior petrosal vein coming from the cavernous sinus and meeting with the transverse sinus. Okay. Okay, even this much is very enough for you. So what I want to clarify, when the cavernous sinus, the blood from the cavernous sinus is going, it is coming from the superior petrosal sinus and it's come in the inferior petrosal sinus. So it's superior and inferior. Inferior directly going out, but the superior coming in this horizontal part, then going out. Okay.